Friday night, sharpening time. How's it going? We're live on YouTube and Facebook right now. This is the third time I've gone live today. Doing some sharpening. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel on what I have left to sharpen, to be honest. So we're going to sharpen something. We'll figure it out. I got a box. I got a couple boxes in the mail we can open up. Let's see what's in those. I just forgot about that. We got this guy. We started. Oh, I finished it. Never mind. So this is the last knife we sharpened on the last live a couple hours ago. Warrenclyffe PM2 to 400 grit. It is very sharp. I like making little curlicues. Yeah, knife grips the paper. It's aggressive enough of an edge. When people say toothy edge, what they mean is what you think of sharp. Toothy edges are sharp. Like they grab paper and they cut. If you over polish your edge, I guess it can technically be sharp, but it won't cut like that. Oh, we have a celebrity in the house. Oh, Balake finally joining me during a live. I'm loving this. And you are going to be loving that Oculus that I saw yesterday. Trust me, you're going to have more fun with it than anybody in that household. I promise you. Got two sharpeners on the bench, which is why I like these small form factor sharpeners, because I can have them on my desk and I can push them out of the way and pick them back up. They're still totally big enough to sharpen anything. Here's my Kadet, TSProf, made in Russia. This is the Kadet Nero. It's a fairly simple design. It's very well made. It feels kind of like a scientific instrument. It's heavy. The one, not funny thing, but the one difference between mine and the one you've seen more of now is called the Pro. The Pro has a knob over here, and it lets you dial and, like, on a machined wheel, move up and down. This one has this just screw. I just loosen it up and I can slide it up and down and screw down. I think this is better, to be honest, because it's simpler and I can adjust the angle really fast, and it's not hard to use as is, and it costs like $75 less. So that's what the difference between the Nero and the Pro is. And the Nero's black, and they used to have a silver one, but I haven't seen it for a while. Here's my Hapstone RS. About 20% smaller, maybe a little bit smaller. It weighs, let's weigh these two systems. Okay, the Hapstone RS weighs 3 pounds, 14 ounces. And the Kadet, with my center clamp anyway, weighs 4 pounds, 11 ounces. So yeah, about 20% heavier. It's heavy enough to keep it stable while you're sharpening. It's not going to go anywhere. I hold on to it when I sharpen anyway. So Balake uses Kadet. When did you get that? Did you get that on Black Friday? I forgot. I don't know if I knew you had that. And what kind of stones are you rocking on that bad mamma jamma? Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good sharpener. It really is. I go to town on this. Like, there's a couple weak spots. Like these screws strip out when you clamp down, so I've had to replace those. Um, I attached. There's some things when you screw down, you want to make sure they're really screwed down. So I use a driver. Like this stop kept on flying off with the thumb turn, so I put a screw in it so it stop. It can't come off basically. Other than that, it's been very good to me. I mean, I work it back and forth. I shake the desk. I really work this thing pretty hard. Probably harder than I should for sharpening a knife. Let's see what we got. Oh, got it. Did you? I forget who always has this. And the stones came with it one upgrade. Yeah, you do just get the. I'm kind of liking the simplicity of this. Just get the 150 and the 400 grit stone, the Hapstone CBN. And if you don't want to do mirrors, you can sharpen anything, and that'd be like $130, which is not cheap, but you'd have like the best edges ever, and that's all you need. Okay, so this is a package that came in today. I just opened it kind of briefly on the inside of it. It's bubble wrapped up knives. The one on top I'm going to save for last. I haven't opened it up for you, but first one we got up. So I'll sharpen anything when people send me. So this is a Gerber. Cool. It'll be quick and simple. I get a very large variety of knives, I will say. We have a CRKT. Sorry, I think I'm going to stop using Google Chrome for these because it keeps on crashing every time I do it. It usually takes longer than 8 minutes before it crashes, but I'm back. So yeah, this guy sent me a Gerber, a CRKT, and to make it a little different, I don't even know what brand this is, but check out this full custom he sent. I mean, what? Oh, this is going to suck to sharpen too. So this has a lock right here. You press this button. I think this might be an Leishowitz. I think it's what it is, an Leishowitz. Alan Leishowitz. Pretty dope, crazy little knife though. So yeah, people send me all sorts of stuff to sharpen. But I've never seen such diversity in one crumpled together little box as CRKT, a Gerber, and a $15 or $2,000 knife. The other knife that came in I have to sharpen. It's actually next up. I just haven't had the will to sharpen something. Oh, I gotta pin this post. Kids playing in the background. Okay, let's see if we can get some more people to join us. Let's put a post up saying, holla at your boy. I don't know what this is. That's pretty cool too. It's a fixed blade, obviously. It's got a really cool material, very solid feeling, almost like a rock. I don't know what this material is. Very solid feeling. It feels wonderful. This is so nice feeling. Cool knife. It's got a sharpening choil. So different knives, I have different opinions on sharpening choils, but this one I'm very happy it has one. It'll make sharpening it a lot easier. I can just tape that off and not mess up the ricasso, so I'm happy that's there. Yep, there's Camden. Oh, people are hopping on. Who's up in the house? Who's partying with me tonight? It's Friday night. It's 8:42 Pacific time. I'm gonna show off my sharpeners, answer some questions, maybe sharpen knives. But I've been doing that a lot. I'm gonna show some knives off. This knife would be cool with a mirrored edge, though. Vero's got it figured out. Joseph's designs are so good. This is the Synapse XL. This is my favorite Vero. I've handled most, if not all of them, including prototypes. And this one is just clicked for me. It's way bigger than anything I carry. It's a cool knife. It's a chunky knife. It's thick. It's got a big blade. Feels good in hand, though. It's just the cool factor is out of control with this knife. And I have it broken in very, very, very well. How did the off-center PM2 turn out? Could off-center affect the edges if it's so bad? It's always going to be off-center. It's just the liners or something is screwed up. Could off-center affect the edge if so bad? The only way I could think of it is if the blade is warped, it would kind of screw things up because then it wouldn't line up when you're sharpening it correctly. I'm going to take... We're right back, guys. I'm going to go get something to drink real quick. Tell my kids to chill. Thank you. You're right. I was muted because the kids were going bananas and I was saying all sorts of shit. So we're going to sharpen this in the Kadet. I trust myself more with the Kadet than with the Hapstone just because I'm used to it. I'm going to put a mirror on this Vero. These are really good knives. Maybe by Best Tech. This is definitely my favorite version, the Synapse XL. I wish he had one that was like, he's got the Synapse and the Synapse XL. There needs to be like a Synapse large, like a Synapse L, no X, would be a much better carry size. But this size is just so much fun. What up? If you didn't hear me, I said what up before. So what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see sharpeners? Do you want to see anything cool on my desk? You want to do drugs? What do you want to do? Yeah, sup. My mouth is better now. A little dry. This is the knife I sharpened yesterday. I've shown it off a couple times, but it's just so nice. This is a Rex 45 Aramis PM2. This is an 8,000 grit mirror that was stropped down to 0.1 micron. This is the shiniest mirror I've ever done. It took about a half hour while I was jibber jabbering on with everybody. It turned out pretty amazing though. Oh, what up from Maui? This is Rich. How about drugs? This is the drug I am using at the moment. It is a THC edible. I took one of these, and we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, holla, you know how the mirror goes. Okay, well, guys, what do you want to see on systems? You just want to see me sharpen? What do you want to see? We can mirror something else for fun. Let's see how this Bowie looks. This Bowie's got a mirror on it already. I don't think I need to pre-sharpen this one. See how it cuts, though, because a lot of my knives, I've gotten and will always get better at sharpening. It's something you can't really master. But it's funny, like I can pick up stuff up I sharpened a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I can tell how I've gotten better. See, this cuts well, and it's a mirror. That's great. I'm not going to resharpen this one, but here's my Bowie. I do love this knife. This is probably my favorite Spyderco I own. It's got Department 13 carbon fiber scales on it. The scales are, can't see. They actually have texture on them. They're not just smooth carbon fiber. And I put a mirror on it and Eric Shepherd blue backspacer. Same what? Same fun time you're having as me? This is what I carried today. This is a really good knife around the house. This is an Aramis scale para 3 with a Crewwear blade. So the funny thing about steels is I know we all have like good boners over like, oh, Maximate, oh my god, that's so good, and oh, Crewwear's got such a cool name. It's got to be good if it's got a name like Crewwear. Well, it is good. it's just funny how certain steels get a hype behind them. The one thing I will say about Kruger though is it's got average edge retention. For like no one's going to argue that Kruger has long edge retention, but its toughness, if you look at it on the charts, is astronomical. It's a very, 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 very tough steel. Like it shines in that department. That is its leading attribute, and its chromium content is not at 13 or whatever the number is percent to make it technically stainless, but it doesn't really rust or patina. I've gotten one little mark on a Kruger blade, and that's because I spilled teriyaki sauce on it and let it sit for a week, and it left a little hint of color. But yeah, this is a fun little knife. It's great for my pants, slips in and out. Every single one, but except for all but one of my pair of threes have the same MXG clip. So this is the MXG pair of 3 clip, and the difference between this clip and the one that they make for the PM2 is this back bend distance from here to the clip screws is longer on the pair of 3 clip because the pair of 3 rides extra high. So they make it extra deep, and they also put a little notch right there. So the lanyard tube's actually not covered. You can get a lanyard through there if you want. So this is the pair of 3 clip. I love this clip. It's great in and out of pants. And I sanded these scales down to, this feels like 600 grit, kind of polished them up. It slides right in and out of my pants without destroying my pockets, which I've become very sensitive to. So this is going to get carried more. It's been neglected. I don't know why. I think it's because it was Kruger, and I just had a thing in my head that I had to carry something that was more exotic. Unfortunately, Aramis doesn't do IUTEX. I have not heard this from Aramis's mouth. Well, I've never heard it from anyone's mouth. I've never heard it from him written to me. But Jason said that as well. However, Jason also just got 2 sets of IUTEX scales from him. So he did it for Jason, or maybe he had some left over, or maybe it was the last of it. I don't know. Might have just been certain colors. I do love my IUTEX scales. Like, there's some purple IUTEX. So this is IUTEX. IUTEX is kind of like carbon fiber, but it's made of aluminum weave, and it's got color in the resin to give it this really cool look when it gets sanded down. Now where did that knife go we just sharpened today? Here's a good color IUTEX. It's easier to see. And it comes in tons of colors. So last time I ordered from Aramis, I can't count how many sets, like 6 or 7 sets of IUTEX scales. Or that's something I have. I like the material and it was cheap. Yeah, dude, the MXG goes deep. Got enough, you know what I'm saying? It's got enough. I do like my Lynch clip. I avoided Lynch. I mean, borderline OCD. I don't, not joking about it. It bothered me when my stuff doesn't match. So all my pair of 3s had matching MXG clips, but I did get Lynch scaled pair of 3, and you have to put a Lynch clip on it, obviously. So this is the way the Lynch clip sits. Pair of 3 Lynch clip. It's not quite as deep. It doesn't block the lanyard tube, but it doesn't, it lets a little bit stick out of your pocket still. I do like this though, more than I thought. It doesn't feel as bad in hand as the last one I had. The Hapstone pokes my hand if I hold it wrong. Now, I don't like that saying holding it wrong because that's bullshit. There's never a such thing as holding something wrong. That's the natural way you do it on a machine, in my opinion, like a knife. If I can't open a knife and someone goes, "Oh, it's because you put your fingers there," I'm like, well, then it's a bad knife because I don't have to adjust my grip to something that's not natural. I am getting used to doing this. You just have to force yourself to hold it by tips of your fingers instead of like this. I like doing this because I just get it. I get after it, and this is more of a finesse thing. This is a lighter touch. It's not a bad thing. I just I don't know. I like holding the ball like this and we're just going boom, boom, boom. It's fun, but I do like the system. It's definitely worth the $200, and I can sharpen with it. I've now sharpened a couple knives with it, and it works great. So let's sharpen this Vero. We're going to use the Kadet. Don't trust myself enough with the Hapstone. So many things on my desk that I need for this process. Where's my screwdriver? Kind of need my Allen driver so I can do this. It should be laying on my desk. Maybe we're gonna have to sharpen with the Hapstone if I can't find this. Where'd it go? No, it stays right in front of me. Poop. Poop, poop, poop. That is not cool. It'd be funny as if, like, on camera you guys could see it. I can't because I'm blind. I'm dumb about the stuff that fall on the ground. Well, let's put the Hapstone, I guess. We'll sharpen something else. We'll finish this piece that we did earlier. Okay, going back to this PM2, we'll finish this up. Oh, there it is. It's just hiding. We'll just do both. That's silly. Okay, now I'm going crazy. Okay, found my driver. I'll do that for the Vero on the Kadet next. So what are you guys doing tonight besides watching me like a bunch of losers just watching me sharpen? How lame is that? No, this is the place to be, the club. This is the meeting spot. Hang out. Hang out in the comments. So we're just gonna sharpie this edge. This shouldn't have. Wait, I already did this. What am I doing? Ready to finish this edge after the show. Let's mirror it for fun. So we're going to use an 800 grit stone. Yeah, it lines up. No, I already finished this. I must have finished the last show. We're not going to do this. We're going to do the Kadet and the Vero. This edge is done. What am I doing? Okay. Time to put an edge on a knife I've been avoiding doing for a while. I don't know why. It just kind of scared me because I like this knife so much. So putting the chamois cloth over spine. So I've plastic dipped the jaws of the Kadet, and I use a chamois cloth to protect the surface. And between those two things, it kind of centers the knife vertically. In my opinion, it kind of molds to the knife and allows it to be at an even plane, not tipped in the jaws. So it gets tightened down real good. It holds it nice. It doesn't slip around. Oh yeah, I need to line it up first. So we're going to line this up with the knife grind parallel to the jaw. So we're going to loosen this up now. Oops. We're going to tilt this a little bit so that the heel and the tip are more in line, and that will make the average angle between the tip and the heel closer to be the same. So we'll have a more consistent angle throughout the edge. Because imagine this thing. This is on a pivot. If I sharpen way out here, the angle is actually really low. But if I sharpen right in the middle, the angle is higher. So even though on a guided system, it's like consistent angle-ish. It also depends on how you clamp stuff. You kind of have to make sure it stays consistent angle, and that's why you set it in the clamp like this to make it so it's kind of even all the way around. So we got it lined up. Crank it down. Crank it down pretty good. This is one of my favorite tools. I'm a tool snob. I like nice tools for when I work on my hobbies. I like to have things that are nice. So Weehaw, I know, is like, oh, everyone knows Weehaw. It's so cool, and it is. It's great shit. I love my Weehaw drivers. I recommend them more than anything else in the world. Is Weehaw 36291 torque sharp set. However, these are Allen wrench screws, so I needed to get an Allen screw, and instead of getting this an L, I remembered I have these for my RC cars. These are more industrial products, MIP drivers. These are like $20-something a piece. They're very good. I can't tell you how much pressure I have put on the tip of this Allen head in a screw on an RC car with a breaker bar attached to the handle of the screwdriver, twisting and they won't twist out of place. So if you want good tools and you need Allen heads, MIP, if you need a set, they come in the right sizes you need for sharpening stuff. Satisfying having good tools. Michael says, one tip I have for the artist: add a drop of lube to the ball magnet. On mine, the coating started to show wear already. The chrome coating getting scratched and worn. Interesting. I did try putting lube on the rod, and I don't suggest doing that. I had to try to get it off because it slowed it way down. So, however the rod is without lube, leave it alone. Balaki's at work. Balake, you dispatch those ambulances and stuff for whatever you do. What do you do? You talk about sitting around a lot, but I know there's a lot of ambulance talk too. Flicking my new Koenig, dude. How did you score that? That's you found it at a shop. Those are fairly rare knives. They only made a few of them in the last year, and I mean like 6. Facebook users are tool, dude. Snap-on stuff. I don't know the whole Snap-on. I'm not an auto mechanic, but I know it's a whole scene. It's a whole to-do and fancy cases and wrenches and stuff. Bourbon and Yellowstone reruns. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, 24-hour shift. Why? Why is that helpful? Is it why? Why not just do 12-hour shifts? I don't get it. But maybe you like it. That's crazy though. I can't stay awake that long. Okay. Here's my least favorite part about sharpening, something I am not familiar with yet. I'm gonna marker the edge. I'm using a Milwaukee Inkzol, like a Sawzall, but an Inkzol marker. And I know you're supposed to use a fine grit stone to do this, but I don't care. I use a 150. I don't care. Leave scratches. I'm going to get rid of them. But this is easier for me to watch it and remove marker and see where to remove marker instead of smudging it around is to use a lower grit stone. So what we're going to do is, I doubt it's this low. I'm going to put it to where I think it might be, around 20-ish. And then we're going to see where it comes out. Need more light for this one. So knives with really small reveals are really hard to find. Let me use the other side. Maybe the light's better. Turn my desk lamp. Okay. It's kind of hard to see with green ink, honestly. So it actually, I hate when this happens because it makes me question if it's accurate. It looks like it's right on. But this is a total shot in the dark, so we're not going to trust it yet. These little reveal knives are really tough to figure out what they're actually at. So we're going to zero this, and we're at 19.3. We're going to set it to 20. I'm just guessing if it looks close that the factory meant to set it to 20. That's a pretty common number, I see. Let's redo this edge. And if it's close enough and it's at 20, we'll just sharpen at 20 and call it good. Whoa, under retail mini goblin. 10 days a month. That would be kind of dope. 10 days a month. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. And you get some sleep. Okay. And you get to watch me sharpen knives. So that's fucking killer. Okay, let's see this bevel. See how it looks. it feels, you can just feel the way the stone glides over the bevel that I think we're at exactly 20. I think that's where we're at. Okay, we're going to set our stop collars. Ooh, what happened here? So this is something why you do this every time you sharpen a knife. Somehow this little thumb turn got loose and the stop collar was pushed all the way this way. If I would have done that and sharpened it, and I depend on my stop collars, I bump them a lot, I would have fucked up my knife. So I always say this before every knife you sharpen, set your stop collar. Make sure it's tight. Make sure your whole edge, if you swing an arc over the edge, that you have like at least a ½ inch of stone that's not going to touch the blade anywhere. So we're good now. We're at 20 degrees. It looks like the right angle. We're going to check both sides on the Sharpie. And we'll sharpen at 20 degrees. It'll look good. Alrighty. We got some electrical tape. We're covering the ricasso. So what you want to do is anytime you sharpen, you want to see anywhere the stone could hit. So I'm thinking in my head, okay, what if I get really aggressive and get past the end of the edge? Well, then I could hit this piece of titanium. I could scratch the piece of titanium with the stone. Or sometimes knives have ricassos that do go from skinny to fat real fast. Well, if I don't be careful, I'll scratch this face of the fat ricasso. So you kind of just want to imagine where the stone could potentially hit and then cover it with electrical tape. I say electrical tape because it molds to any shape very well. It stays there. It doesn't come off. It doesn't, you can't rub through it like blue tape. If you use good electrical tape, it will just like kind of mold to anything and stay sticky. And when you take it off, it doesn't leave a residue. I use Scotch 3M electrical tape. It's like, I don't know, $9 for 3 rolls instead of going to Harbor Freight and getting one that's $6 for 8 rolls or whatever. Just spend the money and get this. It's important, just like anything else in your tools using knives. Cheap tape will come off. Cheap tape will rub through. Cheap tape is not helpful. All right, now we're just going to sharpen. Make sure we look good at 20. Now we're going to do backward strokes. For profiling, we're trying to just rough up the edge and get any little imperfections in the grind out. And going forward and backwards helps you see them. Sometimes if you go only forward strokes, there'll be something that's kind of hidden in the shadow. Okay, now let's line our scratches up. Doing forward strokes. We're going to flip it. And we're going to feel for a burr. I'm assuming this is M390. I didn't look. I don't think it says on here actually. But I assume it's M390. Feels like we have a little bit of a burr. But we're going to do this side now. Yeah, we have a burr. You can hear it. So when you have a burr in your apex, it sounds different when you run the stone over it. You can tell. So what's going on tonight, guys? Who is taking some intoxicating substances? Who's doing something fun? I've been kind of, unfortunately, taking a break. I take mushrooms for my mental health, and last time I took them, I got pretty sick. And it's hard to explain getting sick while on mushrooms, what it's like. Not just nausea, but like not a bad trip. Just you got sick. So I haven't been taking them for a while. I really miss it. They're fun. They're very good. They help your mind. Yeah, dude. Needs an edge. Ooh, feels like we got a burr. Oh yeah, we got a burr. Send them in, dude. I'm turning stuff around so fast now. Now that I've been doing these live videos, it gets me motivated to sharpen more. And it's also cool that if you send it in, you can watch me do it and I'll do it live. What up, Patrick? Yeah, so last time I took mushrooms, I got kind of sick, but I also took 9 grams of them, which is a fuck ton, I think is the appropriate term, which is why I got sick. It was too much. Yeah, dude, I sharpen Medfords actually all the time. It's pretty funny. I see a lot of them. They're entertaining. I always get a kick out of them. So it feels like we need profiles. So we're gonna check for a burr. We have a burr. M390 burr isn't huge like 15B gets. So it's got a burr. You can hear it, the high pitched noise when it's apex. So now we know that we're hitting the leading edge. We know we've hit, when you say apex, I'm talking about the stone is rubbing here. So the very tip of your infinity point that never actually happens, the tip of the point of your knife is when you're apexed. And when that happens, the burr's curled over the edge. And you flip the knife, when you run the knife over it, you'll hit that burr and you'll feel it and hear it. And when that happens, you know that you're sharpening. You know that when you're flipping the burr back and forth, when you flip the knife, that it's actually doing something. So now we don't need to do a ton of work. These tiny doubles don't need to be super de-scratched or anything. You can't really see scratches on a small double. We're just making the edge look nice. Get rid of major scratches so the next stone works. Looking good. Did this morning. Not often, but I have. I think I did like today a little bit. It does kind of shine more light on. Okay. Okay, we're doing 2 passes at 150 to profile it. This edge, because it's a Chinese-made knife from a high-end factory, love it or hate it, they are very precise with their grinds. These are not like Spyderco grinds where it's like 15 and 19 or whatever people want to say. Spydercos are usually 17-ish, but I understand that they're not dead on all the time. But these best tech edges, I'm assuming, are pretty damn consistent. Because this thing is not hard to sharpen. Okay, that's funny. That's more than enough, probably. Yeah. So now we're going to jump up stones to 400 grit. Oh, this is going to be a sexy knife. Oh, yeah. The hand satin blade, I love this. I did all sorts of things to make. This is like a collab of. What did I do? I bought a V. I'm trying to remember what blade this is. I had a V1 and a V2. I feel like I swapped one of the parts on them. I don't know, but I got the tan satin blade, which I love, and it's in this handle, which is a V2 handle with the V2 clip and these scales, and I broke it in forever, and when I was done, it was the last. I think this is the blade from the V1. I can't remember now. It's not going to take long. We're just kind of scrubbing the edge, lining everything up. That's about all I need. Burrs flipped. We're going to do one more pass at 400 grit. This time we're going to do a little bit lighter strokes, and we're just trying to remove the burr. The burr is pretty obvious now, so we're trying to just break a little bit of it up as we push over the other side. Okay, Hapstone. Hapstone at 800. I'm gonna go grab some more water. I'm feeling parched. I got that cotton mouth kicking in. It's no fun if I can't talk. I'm back. Me drinking water, you know what that means? It means there's nothing else in the house to drink. Not that I hate water. I just, yeah. I prefer something else at the moment. Love a Coke. Coke would be so good. But it has to be in a can. So I'm very particular about my Coca-Cola. Ice cold can, ice cold glass bottle. Plastic bottle, no thank you. And that's all I could get yesterday, and I refused to take one. Yep, pretty much. Okay, we got the 800 grit stone in. Yep. So once you get to 800, you're not really putting much pressure on it, or I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. These stones have thick steel back plates, which they're heavier than any other stone I've used before, which has like thin aluminum back plates. What that does is it helps. When people say let the stone do the work, this is a lot easier to let the stone do the work when the stone weighs something. It's a lot better. I really like it. So when you get 800 grit, it really kills the burr with these stones. There's not much left. We'll do 2 passes just in case. Just do a quick pass over there. You kind of look at the scratch pattern, how much time you spend on stone. I overdo it for sure. So the amount of time you see me doing it is actually too much with these stones anyway. For a lot of people, it wouldn't be enough, but with these stones, I actually overdo my edges a lot, not just a little bit, like a noticeable amount. Like my burrs are huge. I work off. So you just watch the scratch patterns. I'm watching the edge to make sure all the scratches are lined up and there's no matte spots, no divots, no big scratches that are obvious, no things that are the scratches going the opposite direction, or half the top of the edge is smoky and the bottom edge is polished. Looking for that kind of stuff to get evened out in the edge, and that the burr's flipped. The burr flips right away. It's not a big deal. So you're really then just making the bevel look nice. So this stone we're going to spend very little time on because we already made the edge look nice. All we're doing is working on the burr. So we're doing longer strokes. Just make sure everything is all lined up. That's plenty. I'm looking at the edge. I think we're going to mirror this thing to the moon. We're going to take this thing to 8,000. Okay. I cleaned my stones earlier today. Everyone's been asking me randomly about cleaning stones, so I actually did it. I used this stuff, Gunny Shine. It's from Scott Gunn. I don't know what it's designed for specifically, but I gave it a try and it worked. My stones were dirtier than I thought. They looked fine, but there was more shit in them than I realized. So trying not to go too far past the heel, but also making sure you get all the way on the heel so the whole edge is mirrored, not just 95% of it. But being careful not to overrun too far. Okay. Now we're going to jump to 5,000 grit. Did I do both sides? I'm going to do this 2,000 again real quick. Oh, I feel like I didn't do both sides. So this is why I always count my flips. Now I can't remember if I did this side or not, so I'm just going to do it again real quick. Okay. Now that I know I've for sure hit it with a 2000 grit, we'll hit it with 5000 grit. So yeah, depending on the type of stones you have, it is largely dependent on how long you have to do each side. These CBN stones cut very well, so they create a burr quickly, which is awesome, which is one attribute to stones having is how fast they cut, how fast they create a burr. But these also polish incredibly fast. So it takes less strokes. And the less strokes, the better, because you can over polish an edge and take all the micro serrations off the teeth of the edge, and you're going to be less sharp. So you don't want to overdo even the high stones. People always think that their highest stone is the one that makes it sharp. It's not. You need to be sharp at your lowest stone. I mean, minus if you have a big burr on it, but you should be sharp, very sharp after your second stone. You should be able to cut paper very aggressively. And then the hope is as you go up that you maintain that level of aggression, because a lot of times, especially if you're stropping, you would have had a sharper knife. You might think that, those high grit stones and a strop make all the difference in the world to make it extra sharp. Yes, but honestly, a knife at this grit, uh, I'm really just polishing the edge. I'm just hoping to keep it from getting less sharp. So the reason 5000 grit stone, you can't even really see scratches that you're covering up. The 2000 grit is, for all purposes, a mirror. It's polished very well. Polishes very quickly. This 5000 grit one is kind of looks like hard to see what you're doing because you're like, am I making a difference? But it's becoming, this is a very nice looking mirror right now. So these ones I really don't know how long they do. So I'm just going to kind of call that good. So now we're on 8000 grit stone. I think maybe they make a higher one, but at the time I bought this stone, I went on Gritomatic's website, and now they make a ton of different grits. So it's almost like I wonder if I have the best ones or there's better grits than I have that work for my purposes. But I love the grits I have. But they had, at least must have just introduced this 8000 grit one. I'm like, oh, those mirrors are going to be so cool. And then I've never used it until yesterday. It's very smooth, obviously. 8000 grit, CBN. We'll see what kind of mirror this thing produces. This is purely for the purposes of being aesthetically awesome. This is gonna be so cool. Hopefully. Hope it's sharp. It'd be really lame if this wasn't sharp after all this hour and 4 minute long session, which is really long for sharpening this knife. If I wasn't doing this, I could probably do it in like 10 minutes if I was paying attention. Okay, we're going to strop this with, I didn't strop it on there. We're going to strop it by hand with 0.5 micron gunny juice on a paddle strop. It's already mirrored. I mean, it doesn't even need to be stropped to get the mirror. So this is, I love gunny juice. I run the gunny juice page, and I'm a big proponent of diamond emulsions, but I don't feel like you need every single emulsion. You just need to pick a few that you like, and you should be able to mirror off your stones. You shouldn't be trying to run through 6 different strops getting a mirror, because then you are going to get less sharp. You'll end up overstropping. So we're going to find our angle by lifting and pushing into the leather, kind of feeling that it's on the bevel. So that's all the stropping we're going to do on that side. Really, there's no burr left at this point, so we're just giving it a quick polish. Gunny Glow. Magic eraser. Getting the Sharpie off the edge. Cleaning it up. Take the tape off. Ooh, we gotta have a cool looking knife. Hand satin is beautiful. It's a small bevel, so it's kind of hard to see, but oh, buddy. I'm gonna hold this less awkwardly. It's hard to get lighting in here right now. Close to the screen. There we go. Anyway, it's a really nice mirror. It's a little bevel. It was unnecessary to go through the stones, but we did. Now, let's see if it was worth our time and effort to see if it cuts. Oh, it does cut. Cuts little curly cues. It bites into the paper, even though it's at a high grit. This is how a mirror should cut. So, this is a very sharp edge for being this high grit. It grabs paper really well. I don't test using like really flimsy paper. I just like I've cut so much notebook paper that I am used to how it feels and sounds, and I just kind of use that. It's I don't know. It's not as impressive as people who do cut tests like Tony Kim cuts with like joint paper. He'll like sand cut. His edges are crazy sharp though. Maybe I'm just not good enough, but I just like cutting notebook paper. It feels nice. I love the sound. Oh, it's satisfying. I'll sit here and just cut up paper for hours and create big piles. I have to go around my house. I got the Walt Dustbuster kind of vacuum, stick vacuum, and love just going around picking up shreds of paper because they get everywhere from me sharpening and cutting up and testing edges, and paper gets everywhere in this house. Yeah, dude, this is pretty dope now. There we go. My hand behind it. Pretty cool Vero. This might be the coolest Vero that exists now, honestly. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of like the Bacon Damascus or any crazy ones. To me, this is like the ultimate Vero now. That edge is too legit. Never really sat around and cut with this because it was never really, well, this sharp at all. And a lot of times I do mirrors, and I'll spend a lot of time doing them, and I'll look at it, and it'll be like satisfying. I won't see anything wrong with it, and I'll go and I'll cut paper, and it'll just go like this. It'll just like donk into it. That's like a bummer when that happens. Then I'll just take the mirror off. But this mirror is satisfying to cut with. I'm going to leave it on. Yeah, dude. Yeah, buddy. The green preloaded strop from Knives Plus. Can't wait to try that. Okay. Have you put the green stuff on it yet? If not, don't put that on there yet, because that's not a diamond emulsion. That's, oh, it's preloaded. Okay, maybe it's different. Preloaded strop from Knives Plus. I wonder if it comes with it. Anyway, you're gonna want to probably look into diamond emulsions too if you want to do like super seals and polished edges and all that jazz. You need to look into like gunny juice. The green stuff is not doesn't have diamonds in it, so it doesn't really cut, doesn't do anything on the edge. It's like jeweler's rouge. It's like lightly polishing it, but maybe the preloaded one has something different on it. But the little green marker stick is the little wax stick, but you don't want to use that stuff. Okay. I could sit here and do some ASMR and just like cut edges. Oh man, this is my new. I just figured out my new career path. ASMR knife cutting videos. Oh, I feel pretty good at the moment. All right. What else is going on? Come on, guys, talk to me. Give me something to do. What other knives do I have around that are cool? Show off. Let's take out my expensive case for fun. Expensive like that. These are my expensive knives. I like Koenigs. This is the first Koenig I got. It's patterned blue carbon fiber. The blue is very not blue. There's little specks of blue in there. This is my first Koenig. Got me hooked on them. The action and the feel on a Koenig. If you've never handled one, will ruin knives for you. They're so good. The action on a Koenig and the lock and the smoothness. They're addicting to play with. You can open it with the flipper, which is maybe the best flipper that it's in the industry, and you can finger flick it. I can't thumb flick these. I don't know how people do that. That doesn't make sense, but index and middle finger flick, this thing flies open. I got the patterned version, so it's got micro milling in it. So this is my first. Then I went to Blade Show, and Todd from River's Edge Cutlery was nice enough to get in line for me and got me this bad boy, which is my favorite knife probably. This is a Koenig Style 57. So Style 57 is like, they're a lot more expensive than they used to be when I bought mine. But it's like everything's just like taken up a notch. Like, so the milling in here, when kids are out there, the milling is just next level. The blade's hand satin, chamfers are polished. It actually, I weighed it. It weighs less, and this one has the best lock of any knife I own. It flips amazing. This one's on skiff bearings. People always, there's like a whole thing about switching bearings and don't do it, and you're gonna do bad things to your Koenig. This is running on skiffs. I don't want to change them out now after I've heard people say don't do that, because it's so good. It's like perfect. I don't even want to open it up. This is the smoothest knife I own. So there's that. And I got one more Koenig. I got this one. I have, because I wanted a flipper delete, and these are cheap. God, I can't believe how much Koenigs are now compared to the way they used to be. But this, I think, is a sexy ass knife. It is copper dust, flipper delete, gold or bronze hardware. You can obviously only finger flick it here, but the nice thing about the flipper deletes is it has a forward finger choil, so you can choke up on it, and that's why I like these. The flipper is fun to play with on Koenigs, but if you don't care and just can deal with having one deployment method, I'd rather have a non-flipper, honestly, and have it choked up. Like, I would love to have a Style 57 non-flipper. That'd be sick. Those, they dropped yesterday. Yesterday they dropped a batch of mini flipper deletes, and they were awesome ones. I almost wanted to buy one. They were twill. So go look for those for sale on the group, on the buy sell trade group, because those will hit and people will flip them. Things are not, that market is weak. Things are selling for not much more or at what they sold for. So if you want something, go to the Koenig buy sell trade group and you could probably get it pretty quick. So someone asked for about a Shiro. Here's my only Shiro that I've kept. This is called a Hattie R. I've had this for as long as I've had my son. So I got this for 4 years and like 9 months. I bought this. My excuse was when my son was born, like, this will be his knife one day. So it was my first nice knife. I don't know what they've changed since then, but I do love this knife. Flippers are ridiculous. The drop shut is different than Koenig. The lock, the Shiro lock, it feels like a Shiro lock. That means it's got a little puff of lock stick. It's got Shiro stick. It's nothing bad, but the lock on the Koenig's better. This one's more hydraulically drop shut. Shiro's bearings, though, are out of control. The way they like rate them, they have so many different, I don't know, roller bearings and multi-roll bearings and multi-roll roller bearings and all sorts of shit. Problem I have with them is they're all loose. The ones I've seen are loose bearings, which means if you open it up, which you have to open up this stupid key. I fucked this thing up trying to open it up with a nickel, and even though it was taped up. And at least I think they fixed this, but this is not captured pivot. So there's not a flat spot milled in here, and this is flat. So there's nothing to grip onto. So you try to twist this, and it spins both sides. I can spin it with my finger. I'm spinning that. Both sides spin, and you can't get it open. It's so Loctited, but the action is so good. And I have zero need to open this knife up. I've wanted to so many times, but it's so dialed in, the flipper, that there's no need to open it, and I don't ever want to open it because I don't want to screw it up. This one's the knife I'm most scared of opening. I do like this. It was my first high-end knife. I was very excited to buy this. It's really cool. I don't know what improvements they've made since then, but it's really great the way it is. I think I saw it Stellar. I think I know which one you're talking about. It caught my attention like nothing has in a long time. So, yeah, that looks pretty dope. The Koenig Buy Sell Trade Group. Join the Koenig group and join the Koenig Buy Sell Trade Group. You can get anything in there. Stuff gets listed. It sells quickly, so you just got to pay attention and jump on it when you see stuff. But there's been so many knives made compared to obviously 2 years ago. But he's catching up now and just dumping minis onto the market. So minis prices from like when I got mine, when I was a pre-order version. So it's just a PJ with blue hardware. These were selling for like $900, and then within like a month, he was dropping them like every couple days, and the prices plummeted, and they were like at retail. So just go in that group, you should be able to find what you want for a good price. Obviously, put a mirror on this. Obviously. Ooh, you know what I never got is why the F-95s, the turtles, they cost so much more than my Hattie for some reason. The Hattie was like $800, and I remember the F-95 turtles were like $1,200 when I bought mine. Yeah, dude. Why? But why? But the action's so good, I can't deny that. What else can I just kind of show you guys? This is a South African maker. I'm gonna sell this knife, but South African maker called Arno Bernard. Got a polished blade, which is dope. This is basically like a Sabenza with the flipper. South African maker like Chris Reeve is also South African. Feels very much like a CRK, but it's got a flipper. It's a very good knife. Very cool. Good blade shape. I like that. And you can actually flick it. I forgot about that. I haven't played this knife very much, but you can actually finger flick it. More of that. What else? So that one's okay. This is a touch knife. This is my only custom I own. It's got a Timascus clip. It's got purple titanium liners. Got a carbon fiber pivot cover, which I think is really cool. It's contoured carbon fiber like a Capara, it feels like. The only thing I don't like about it, which is kind of important, is how you have to hold it is just like awkward. I want to choke up on it so bad, but I can't. So it kind of leaves this weird position in my hand where it's like hanging out there. It works fine. Like it's not bad. It's just not what I'm used to. I just like want to put my finger forward so bad. Here's a can a little bit. It's not as bad as I thought. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm not good on. This is the only thumb studs I'm down with. These are huge thumb studs. They're long. But this action is so good on this thing. It just shoots open. Thumb studs don't tear up your fingers. Flip's amazing. This is a touch knife. This guy lives like, I don't know, 10 blocks from me. Lives that way. My lowest gas station knife. I'll see what my lowest gas station knife is that's up here. I don't have one really. I have another case of knives downstairs that have some shitty ones like that, but I don't really keep any of the shitty ones up here, honestly. My shittiest knife that I have in the knife room, I have a box in the basement that says sharp, pointy things on it, and there's some shitty things in here. But the shittiest thing I have up here is a tenacious. I forgot about this. This is kind of a good knife. This is like my first Spyderco. I don't know. This is kind of an important one. I just kind of forgot about it. It's not a bad knife actually. But man, I think I bought this on Amazon. It was $36. So it used to be like, yeah, a good fucking deal. No, dude, I don't have any weird knives. I don't have anything. It's from a gas station. I have a Benchmade though. This was my first Grail knife. Oh, this thing needs to be cleaned up. It was a mini Griptilian with a Spidey hole. So if you want a Spidey hole on a knife, the reason Benchmade is allowed to do this, so Spyderco owns the patent for the way it's worded is a round hole, which means it's a circle. They're the only ones that are allowed to put a circle. That's why you see holes that are other shapes on knives, like different fullers. Makers can do that because there's no patent on different shapes, but the round hole is patented by Spyderco. So if you want to put that on your knife, you have to lease it, and they'll sell it to you for $1 a knife, which is pretty good. So if I was going to make a knife, I would definitely go to Spyderco and say, hey, can I lease the hole from you guys because it's my favorite opening method. So that's why this Benchmade is dope, because it's got a Spidey hole on it and an axis lock. So I still like this knife. It's an oldie. It's 154 cm. I got this on Amazon when it went on sale randomly. Yeah, this is an oldie. This is my first expensive knife, and it was like 65 bucks, I think. Well, yeah, I will be on here for a long time, so I think we're going to call it good. Unless you guys got any more questions, I'm going to wrap it up. Hell yeah, dude. Anuses. Peace out, Michael. Thank you for joining me again. These are fun. Time flies. I can't believe how long we've been on here already. I think my drugs are going to be kicking in. Should probably go lay down. Probably close my case before I try to pick it up and forget that it's open. All right. Well, night to all. That was awesome. I had a good time. We'll do it again tomorrow, probably. I don't know. We'll see. Peace.